Melissa, you ready? You ready? All right, good evening. Welcome. It is Tuesday, April 7th, 7 p.m. in the City Council chambers for the official City Council meeting. I ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilman Fleetwood. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Munger.
Here.
Councilman Haycraft.
Here.
Councilwoman Azatea.
Here.
Councilman Cohen.
Here.
Councilman Leaders. Here. And Mayor McCoy.
Here. We're being a quorum. I call the meeting to order. This time I ask Mayor Pro Tem Munger to lead us in the invocation.
Father God, we just come before you and we thank you for this day. We thank you that we're able to gather here, Lord. Lord, we ask you for wisdom in guiding this meeting, in guiding the city, the business here. We ask for wisdom in handling all of these situations that we deal with. Keep our employees, keep our citizens, keep everyone safe and well. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Janice, will you lead us in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, Council, at this time, I'd ask for approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have approval of the council minutes from the regularly scheduled council meeting, March 17th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. Any other discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have approval of payroll and claims second half March of 2026.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comments. We just had one that signed up previously but is not here, so there's none other on the list, so we'll move on. The first item we have on the list, on the agenda, is Mark Dow, Hannibal Y Men's Club, but I got a feeling that Mark's not here.
Yeah, I'm not Mark. My name's Jonathan. Yeah, Mark couldn't be here. But yeah, everything we're asking for as far as road closures and dates are the same that we've always done every year, with the addition of additional parking to be closed off between the boat club and the railroad. But
In
that's
between the tracks, right?
yeah, in between,
that little
yeah,
square.
that little section of parking lot,
Yep.
basically. And then once we get insurance for everything, we'll just send it over to you guys, usually a little bit closer to the first event in May.
So that'll be, the request will be for the Down by the Rivers, May 15th, June 19th, and then Mud Volleyball, July 1st through July 7th. We have everything except for insurance? Okay. Council, you have any questions for Jonathan?
I'd make a motion pending insurance.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the requested dates and items pending submittance of insurance to the city clerk's office. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next item we have is Tricia Sheltery, Tourism Director.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I think on the agenda, the first special event is the Music Under the Stars request to shut down right in front of basically the Molly Brown House and utilize, utilize the Wyman's Pavilion and the mall area, and then the next block over and block that 300 block off as well for the Music Under the Stars. That is the June 11th event, and the reason for that is because we have a regional band coming, which will have a larger draw, and then also directly after that we'll be opening the Show Me Hannibal attraction at the Boyhood Home, and so we just need a little extra space so that everybody can be safe.
I was confused. I wasn't sure what MUTS was.
I was thinking
Music
the same
Under the
thing.
Stars.
That acronym's a little.
So-
I just had to ask her too, so I'm like, well, I'm not sure I'm following along. Okay,
Sorry.
now we're all on the same page.
Almost got excited.
Note to self.
Note to self, don't use acronyms. Okay.
Okay, so council, have any other questions for Tricia on this road closure from 7 to 10 p.m. on June 11th?
It's going to be a busy week.
Very.
If there's no questions for Tricia, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Perfect, thank you. And then the other special event application is for the lighted drone show on June 6th. As you guys remember, when you approved the drone show before, that's going to be taking off from Clemens Field, and it's going to be projected towards Central Park City Hall this way. For the best viewing area, that will be Central Park, so I'm asking for the park and the 400 block right out here in front of City Hall and the 500 block to be shut down from about 8 o'clock until the show's over at like 9:15, 9:30. And again, that's just for safety so that there's enough room for the citizens that are coming out, the residents to enjoy these two things, but safely.
Trisha, curiosity, does that stay contained over Clemens Field, the entire drone show? Or-
Yeah, so they have a safety perimeter and map and stuff, and so they go up in the air. It's about 2 to 3 miles up that they go. So it'll be pretty far up, and no traffic. You guys have already approved that, but no traffic will be in that area just for safety reasons and precautions. But it'll be pretty high up, so really you can see it just about anywhere, kind of like the fireworks. But optimal viewing is going to be right out here.
Nice.
Are you going all the way down past the fire station?
No, just right here, this one block on 4th Street and 5th Street. Just a little bit extra added to the park for that evening yeah.
So you don't want nobody parking down there?
Yeah, we're asking that there's no parking. I think I said after 6 p.m. So,
All right,
yeah.
sounds good to me.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion is second to approve those road closures for the drone show on June 6th from 6 to 9:30 p.m. Any other discussion?
Yes, let me just clarify, this is just Broadway itself, you're closing between.
It is not Broadway at all. It's just this block right out here in
just
front of
for-
City
okay.
Hall. And then the next
side, not
block
the front
over.
of, yeah.
So, yeah,
Okay.
it's just we're widening the square
Okay.
from Central Park. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I'd still have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tricia. Next, we have Jeff Beach with Hannibal JC's. Former councilman, Jeff
How's it
Beach.
going, Mayor and Council? Here to ask for road closures for this year's National Tom Sawyer Days. You mean to run through everything, or did you guys already see it in the packet?
Disapproved, you gotta cancel it, no, just teasing.
It should all be in the packet. Do we have everything that we need?
I just need the vendors, but you'll get them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I've got your insurance and everything, all we're waiting on is your vendor list.
Awesome.
Pretty much the same as last year, right?
Yep, exactly the same thing.
Council, everything was in your packet submitted. Do you have any questions for Mr. Beach?
Move to approve?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the request from the Hannibal JC's for road closures for the 71st Annual National Tom Sawyer Days, June 30th until July 5th at various times, and road closures for the parade. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Jeff. Next item, we have Mr. Steve Gumble, American Legion Riders, Chapter 55.
Yes, sir, we're requesting that on June 20, Hill Street to Bird Street on North Main be closed so we can do our second annual bike show. The times will be from 8 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. That'll give us time to set up, break down, and do a police call in the area.
Okay. Is that on the packet, the 8:30 to 3:30?
Yeah, the packet, I think,
This
says-
says 9 to 3. Just
Yeah.
want to make sure that we.
Yeah, I had to set up time as 8 a.m. And that is what is told to the street department.
Okay, so we'll still be
yeah.
good. 8:30
Yeah.
to 3:30. Give them set up and tear down
Yep.
time.
They have a whole page that explains it that Andy sends to
Yep.
the street department.
Okay. Council, this was in your packet. I think there was some feedback from last year. I don't know if you got a chance to read it or not, but it's just going to be for that one block.
Yes, sir.
And from those times there. So does anybody have any questions for Mr. Gumbel?
Just curious, how many people do you expect to attend this year?
Last year we had 125 people show up. We had 79 bikes in there. This year I hope to double it. Of course, I hope to double it every year.
That was the first one, though?
That was our first show.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Good deal.
Okay. If there's no other question, I'd enter.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, pending insurance, yes.
Mr. Mayor, as I will state right now, as a member of this organization, I will abstain from the vote.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman. And then Melissa said we're good with everything except just need the certificate of insurance. So
I'd make a motion pending insurance to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, council, sorry to do this to you. Next, we've got several recommendations under my name, so we'll try to get through these as quick as we can. We'll start first with just a first reading for the library board. We'll not need a roll call for this one. This is for Mr. Tom Prater for an appointment for a term to expire July of 2029. Again, that's for the library board and a first reading tonight. We have next item, approval of reappointments in the Hannibal Housing Authority for Patty Talbert for an appointment for a term to expire April of 2030, and Jay Gonti for an appointment for a term to expire April 2030 as well. This is a second and final reading, and I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion over these two appointments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have the Historic Development District Commission. This is a second reading for Roy Hark for an appointment for a term to expire May of 2031. And again, a second reading, and I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have approval of reappointment to the Employee Benefit Trust Board. This is for two positions, for Bianca Quinn for an appointment for a term to expire May of 2029, and Matt Lay for an appointment for a term to expire in May of 2029. This is a second reading, and I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on these two appointments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, approval for reappointment for Board of Adjustments. This is a second reading for Mr. Tom Batenhorst for an appointment for a term to expire in May of 2031. Again, a second reading, and I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, approval of reappointment to the Affirmative Action Committee. We have three appointments tonight. Faye Dent for an appointment for a term to expire in March of 2029. Candy Weems for an appointment for a term to expire in March of 2029. And Corey King for an appointment for a term to expire in March of 2029. These three nominations are a second reading, and I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second on these three. Do I have any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I think I'm done. Next, Andy Dorian, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Got a few items tonight. First up, we have an engineering agreement with Hutchinson Engineering for the design for the Riverview Park Trail washout. As if you're not aware, several years ago we had a massive landslide on the trail leading down to the riverfront, and it's kind of been closed off since then. Recently, we just approved our new master plan for Riverview Park, which is $22 million 30-year plan, and so this would be the first major project. The project estimate is around $700,000. There is a catch to this one, is we will be applying in 2026 for a Land Water Conservation Fund grant in the amount of $500,000. This project is contingent upon that. If we don't get that, we will hold and apply for it again in the next year. But as part of that, we have to have the design to be able to apply for the grant. So Hutchinson has submitted a $40,000 design, a bid and design agreement for this. So
This funding is Parks and Rec,
it is Parks and Recreation. Yep.
and the funding is there?
Yeah, it'll be in the next budget.
Okay.
So it'll be part of the next budget going forward. But the grant application is due in August-ish, so we need to kind of get going now. So
And I apologize, I don't know for sure. Is the master plan online?
I think it should be, yeah. I think it's on the Parks and Rec website, but I'll confirm that.
If it's not, I just encourage the public, if you haven't got a chance to take a look at it, it's a really neat project. It's like Andy said, a long-term project, but it's really going to solidify that park for many, many, many years to come. So
Yeah, this was the park board voted 2 meetings ago for this to be the first major project since it has grant funding. We'll also be doing hopefully with the conservation department, a large scale prairie restoration this year as well. That's also contingent on some grant funding. So
perfect.
And just to clarify, this is the one going from the railroad bridge up to the park.
no, it goes from Riverview down to River Road. So from the middle of the park. So.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no other questions for Andy, that'll be resolution 2599-26 to follow for approval.
Next up, we have a settlement warranty deed agreement on 211 Broadway. This is kind of a complicated one. Council directed James and I several months ago to work with Mr. Smith, who owns 209 Broadway, to just kind of sum it up quickly. The city was given 211 Broadway last year as part of a settlement agreement. Shortly after that, portions of the building collapsed. We then worked with the engineer and our own demo people over the wintertime to get stabilized, at least the first part, as we negotiated with Mr. Smith. We do have a shared common wall between the two properties, so it complicates things. And so as part of that, James and I worked with Mr. Smith to come up with a settlement agreement, and so it is proposed to you tonight.
That'll be resolution 2596-26 to follow for approval. Next item.
Okay, next is the fund that are aviation grants. So anytime you do an aviation grant, you have tons and tons of paperwork. So, so for this one, this is the Fuel Farm project. We have already approved the bid. This next portion of the grant agreements is for the funding for the engineer construction administration portion and for the funding to actually be reimbursed for the grant. So this first one is an aviation project consultant agreement with Wolpert engineering firm. And so their lump sum not to exceed amount is $147,000. Our grant will pay for 95% of that, which is $7,351. So that's the next, that will cover the rest of the engineering and administration for that project.
And that one will be resolution 2597-26 to follow for approval.
And
Next
then-
item. Sorry.
Yep, no, and then the last portion is the actual agreement to get the funding from the state. We have a thing called non-entitlement money and we have EIL money, and so it's sitting in a pot. But to be able to get it, we have to apply, and to be able to apply, you have to have the mayor's signature and council approval. So that would be this next portion. The total project was $1.257 million. The federal share of that, which is once again 95%, is $1.179 million. So the city share for the entire project is $77,000. So it's good. This is the only time probably ever in the history of Hannibal that we'll be able to have that amount of money to do something of this nature. And so we've been working on this for it's like about 6 years now. And so very close. Everything's been ordered. It'll be later this year that we'll get this done. So.
Okay, that'll be resolution 2598-26 to follow for approval. Anything else tonight?
That is all I have.
All
Thank you,
right.
Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Okay, next on the agenda, we have Janice Magruder, City Collector.
Hello. I'm just asking tonight that you abate the list of some special taxes that I don't think the city's going to be able to collect. There's 3 demo properties. The rest were nuisances for mowing or pickup, trash pickup. The total's $34,937.59.
This is just pretty much a procedural thing that we do from time to time to keep the books in order, correct?
Correct. I did one last year. Some of these we decided not to collect on after that list was approved, so I just collected them over the year. I'll try to do once a year list. Might have to do twice a year, closer to like when they do the tax sale.
Sure.
And for some of the reasons is, so say we put a lien on a property for a demo or for trash, and they end up giving that property to the city. Obviously, we can't abate that anymore since we own it, and so we have to, this is the process to take that off the books. Or it goes to tax sale and through the county, and once that happens, we no longer can collect that money as well, so it needs to be abated. So that's pretty the standard process.
What's the timeline on that usually before you bring them to the council?
Well, last year I just started it. I did it once a year last year. I'm going to try to do it once a year or maybe just a couple times a year so that you guys kind of we can stay on top of it. Plus, in 2025 for the taxes, for 2025, the county actually worked with me and put the nuisances and demos on the taxes. So this won't be as many usually. So, because she's going to collect them on the taxes. So we shouldn't have to abate as much.
Council, anybody else have any questions for Janice? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve the abatement of the uncollectible special taxes.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have Tricia O'Sheltry, again. Tourism Director.
Hello, I am back. So what you have in front of you is basically a memo followed by a resolution. Every year, the State Tourism Office offers grant money to DMOs to use for marketing. So the process is that we have to go through and fill out a grant application. We have to come up with a marketing plan for the next 12 months, and we start in April. Deadline's April 30th to turn it into the state. If the state has the money in the budget, then they award grants based on the applications and the need for those. This year, we are eligible to ask for $120,000 again. I do want to say that that is the most we can get. It looks like the State Tourism Office is looking to lose millions and millions of dollars out of the budget, which definitely could affect what amount you're able to get. But we're still trying for it, and we're still going to act like that's what we're going to get. So a copy of the application thus far is enclosed in your packet, so you can take a look at that. Basically, this resolution is just asking for the mayor to be able to sign the grant application along with myself and any supporting documents. Once we receive the grant, if we're awarded, he would also need to sign documents along with myself. Any questions?
Any questions for Tricia, Council?
Curiosity question. What was previous year's grant award amount?
So last year was $120,000 also. The year before that was $100,000. So we have been able to prove that we use the money wisely. And so because we also not only promote Hannibal, but we're responsible for Marion and Rawls County promotions, we are in that tier right now. So we're not small, but we're not big either. So
That grant money for marketing, is it exclusive? You have to use that match grant exclusively for marketing and advertising?
correct. There are a bunch of rules and regulations on what it can be used for, and it is strictly just for marketing. And it has to include the state's tourism logo along with ours and no one else's logo. So a lot of stipulations because it is a grant that we get, and so there are lots of do's and don'ts, and if you break any of those, you will not get the grant again.
Understood. Any other questions for Tricia, Council?
Motion
Not-
to approve.
Nope. Resolution 2600-26 to follow for approval.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tricia. Next up, Mr. John Ortworth, President, Board of Public Works Board.
The issue that I've got is kind of complicated. You've heard it before, but the fact that everything the Board of Public Works does is, in my opinion, 100% transparent. There has been a question and/or issue about making a change to our rate and fees, and that issue has to do with adding the Visitor Convention Bureau and Molly Brown to the no-charge utilities that a number of other city-owned buildings enjoy. And since the Board of Public Works acts in a lot of ways like a public utility, like a public company, also a utility, they have to follow policies and procedures. So right now, the invoicing is happening for the utilities for those two buildings. And we've heard some discussion and some pushback on that, wanting to make the change. So all I'm asking is a vote between the council members and seeking their agreement or disagreement on making that change. And we're having our next meeting next week, we're having a rate hearing to change another thing that we talked about last time around. So that's really all I'm looking for, is to get a consensus of opinion from the council members.
Did we not already vote on this?
Not officially, I don't think.
Not officially.
I think we
but
discussed it. I don't think we
Discussed it, yeah.
officially voted on it.
We discussed it, and did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No.
Okay. So I was just going to say, with all due respect, like, we've had this conversation, you and I, multiple times, me and Darren multiple times. It's been brought up at Board of Public Works meetings multiple times, with usually the majority of the council at those meetings. I expressed the council's displeasure on their behalf a few meetings ago with the frustrations that we had, and explained to you that we were working on a plan to move things forward. As far as I know, the letter that you submitted for the packet is the same letter that was sent, I don't know, a few weeks ago or a couple months ago.
Yeah.
None of the council has reached out to me and changed their mind on the direction that was given months ago about that. So I don't know that it's appropriate for the Board of Public Works that's appointed by this body to come back and request something of this body. We gave you direction, and as far as I know, unless somebody wants to make a motion or change that, that's the direction that was given to the board, and that's the direction the council's going to stand behind.
In all due respect, Mayor, I think it would be appropriate for them to hear one way or another throughout the council, just to, as a vote, a clear narrative, whichever way that may be.
It's completely up to the council.
Okay. So do you need a motion to take a vote?
If you would
Okay.
like to make
Yeah,
one,
I'd
more than welcome
I'd
to.
make a motion to take a vote.
Sure.
Yep.
Motion?
Yep.
Motion is to.
To take a vote to clarify the narrative
Okay.
for BPW to add the,
Waive the.
to waive the BPW fees for the, Molly Brown and Visitor Center. Yes.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
So that was not the discussion that was had. The discussion was the city was no longer going to charge itself utilities for any building currently and in the future. That is what you guys discussed. It was not specifically to the Molly Brown, and that it was all facilities now and in the future. So,
That's what he's presenting now?
no, that is what you guys
That's what we
discussed.
discussed.
Yeah, that was the discussion before.
That was what.
So,
And it even goes as far as in their audit that they do every year. I mean, it says specifically in there, one of the benefits of the company is they provide free utilities to all city-owned property. It doesn't specify how that property is funded, whether it's funded through a bed tax like the Convention and Visitors Bureau, or the Molly Brown House, or anything like that. It strictly just says all city-owned property.
But up until now, it has been the same as any other city building that has been paid for by the Board of Public Works.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Well, in the schedule of rate and fees right now, those two entities.
Hold on a second, before I cut you off, sorry. Before we have a discussion, I have a motion on the floor. I need to see if we have a second. and
I
then we
just
can-
want to see if you
then we
want
can have further
to
discussion.
amend your motion to what, Andy, or?
Correct. Just to clarify the direction from City Council to the BPW, whether or not we're all in agreement on the BPW carries the cost of the rates.
I think we've already sent a letter, so there wouldn't need to be a vote, correct?
Well, that's
so,
what he's asking for. That's the only reason why.
A motion for
Because he's
all
saying we don't
all
have a clear
facilities,
narrative.
city-owned facilities to be waived now and in the future?
Correct.
Which would include Molly Brown.
Molly
House
Brown and the Visitor Center. Yes.
I think it's all what Andy said, all, not just Molly Brown.
That's the
Exactly.
only, that's the only two.
That's
that
the
are-
two that are
that's up
left.
to you. I'm just saying that was what your discussion was.
But-
But ultimately, it's up to you guys, whatever you guys want to do.
So we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'm taking a pause for a moment, and maybe this is a James question, but is there, where are we at legally on this from what we've done before, and what would this vote do?
It's your utility. The utility is owned by the city.
Right.
The board runs your utility for you. To give you an analogy, it would be as if you're the owner of a company, and your manager came to you and said, you know what, from now on, you need to start paying when you get an ice cream cone. You have the right to say, no, I'm not gonna do that. It's my company, I'm not going to do that. The tradition goes back 80, 100 years because we used to make our own electricity in the plant that was down on the river. It was ridiculous for the city to pay a fee for the electricity which they were producing. Now, we haven't made our own electricity for many, many years now, but when we switched to a model wherein we were purchasing the electricity that we provided, a determination was made that it would not change. It is still your utility. You are still entitled, as a constitutional charter city, you are still entitled to do that. So it is legal for you to do it.
Can somebody clarify why specifically just this building and not any of the other ones?
The other one's already included.
We're not paying for any of the others.
I know, but why all of a sudden now just this one is what I'm saying.
Because it's the only one they have to change the rate on.
Gotcha.
The issue was that previously, in particular at the tourism building, we were paying for those utilities. And at some point, you all had a discussion wherein you said, well, wait, why are they being treated differently than the other buildings? That's also our building. As I recall the discussion and your all's discussion, and it was, well, that's probably correct. We shouldn't be paying utilities on that building. It's not different. Now, the board's position is, but it's got a different funding source because they have the bed tax, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's their issue and concern. And I'm not trying to discount either way, just an explanation of your question.
And to add, historically, years and years ago, the tourism board was its own entity. It had its own governing board. Several years ago, the charter was changed, and it put that underneath the city, so it is a city entity. So it is different. So if you look at the library is its own taxing organization, so it would not fall under this, and it's still its own. But the Molly Brown and the tourism are the only two city entities still paying utilities. So this was just to clear, the discussion you guys had was just to clear this up, and that the city is no longer going to charge itself utilities across the board. Ultimately, that's up to you guys, but that's what you guys discussed that day. So
That makes a lot more sense. Thank you, Andy.
I will second the motion,
Okay. Yep.
so we can have a vote.
So you want clarification, so a motion and a second to
waive.
agree
Accept the
to not
narrative,
pay the
yes.
fees, is that
Correct.
what I
We
understand?
take a vote whether or not to.
Okay. Got it? Any other discussion?
So we're voting on what we've already sent a letter in regards to saying that we're not?
Correct.
Okay.
And
okay.
that, I mean, I'm with you, Councilwoman, but, I mean, it's the pleasure of the council, and if
Okay.
if the majority of the council want to vote, then, I mean, obviously, that's your right.
I just think you should clarify what a yes vote does.
A yes vote is in agreement, that we're all in agreement, or the majority that vote yes are in agreement
Correct.
to instruct the board that we are not paying for the
Which is
Molly-
opposite of what
for any
the
city-owned
letter
property
reads.
now or in the future.
Right.
Mayor, I'd just like to, would that include payments from the water treatment plant, the sewer plant? Because I believe they pay utilities at this point, don't they?
I mean, technically, yeah, the board can make that determination, but that would be a city-owned property, correct?
Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
But ultimately, they're just gonna push these rates off to the ratepayers in the future, you know?
But then but the taxes are what pay for it.
Yeah.
So the citizens are going to pay for it either which way. So it's either going to be a rate or a tax. It's
Right.
one way or another. So
Yep.
this just cleans it up across the board.
Yep.
And the question was present and future buildings that are part of the city. So if we build a new
Fire station.
gazebo or something somewhere, that's also covered under the same agreement.
Yep.
Yep.
Any other discussion?
Let me get this right. A yes vote is paying no electric fees for city-owned property.
Utilities for city-owned properties.
Which is how it's been, leaders.
Yes.
And which is not unusual. I mean, we don't, if the fire department puts out a fire for the Parks Department, we don't bill the Parks Department for that. And it's all city services. So that's the kind of way it's been looked at, so.
Okay. Motion and a second on the floor. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Roll call.
Councilman Fleetwood,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft,
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea,
No.
Councilman Cohen,
Yes.
Councilman Leaders.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Todd.
All right, next item on the agenda, Resolution 2596-26. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Jeez, I wasn't ready.
Oh, sorry. I rushed you, didn't I?
Resolution 2596-26, a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a negotiated agreement regarding liability to execute deeds and to sign all other necessary documentation.
Where are we at?
All the way up top.
Councilman Fleetwood,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft,
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea,
No.
Councilman Cohen,
Yes.
and Councilman Leaders.
Yes.
All right, I now declare Resolution 2596.
I'm sorry, did you call discussion for this?
Nope. I already did that.
You called discussion for this?
Mm-hmm.
When?
I said that we have this resolution, and I asked the clerk to call the roll for adoption. Motion to approve in a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Everybody said aye. Motion carried, and then she read the resolution.
Oh, is that why you said it really quick, so that she could move through it so there wouldn't be discussion?
He says that
I
every
gave
time.
the option for discussion.
So there's not gonna be a discussion about how this goes against our charter, voting in favor of this goes against our charter in the state constitution?
Councilwoman, I asked verbatim, I said the next item on the agenda is Resolution 2596-26. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution, call the roll for adoption. I had a motion and a second, which were by who?
Again, you guys went way ahead of me, so we had a motion by Councilman Munger, or Mayor Pro Tem Munger, and I have a second by Fleetwood.
Okay. And then asked for discussion. Nothing. All
I
those
was
in
trying to
favor
figure out
say
where
aye.
we were.
It was also presented earlier for discussion.
No, he didn't call discussion for it earlier. They only read the resolutions for everything. Earlier, it was not said, is there any discussion?
You did roll call, correct?
Yes, I did a roll call. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I had, it was 5-1.
I mean, I don't have a choice at this point other than to declare resolution
I would just like to know why this wasn't made available to the
2596-26
public.
duly approved and adopted on this day. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. It was the public, the agenda packet's been public since.
No, this
Friday.
whole deal was done in closed session.
No. I don't believe it was.
So
I'm not sure,
why wasn't
Councilwoman. I
this
gave you
made
the- I
available
gave you-
for bids to the public?
I gave you the option to discuss this when we went through the process, like we do on every one that we're gonna do on the next 3 or 4 of them.
Okay, and like I said, I did not hear you, and you said it very quickly to move right through it. And I would like to discuss why this property was not made available to the public, and the deal was done behind closed doors.
Andy
Voting in
discussed this
favor
as
of this
well.
goes against our charter and the state constitution, which
So-
is violating our oath.
As untrue, you should have brought this up when we had discussion on it, Councilwoman, is all I can say. I mean, we went through the process and took a vote.
I think it's very obvious why you don't want it discussed, but that's fine.
I gave you the option to discuss it.
It's fine.
And you
It's
chose
fine.
not to discuss it.
I'm trying to discuss it. I was literally trying to find out where we were on here.
But we follow this procedure. Ever since you've been a councilman for a year now, we do the same procedure.
Mayor,
I read at the same
it-
speed every meeting.
It's fine. It'll be handled after, it's after the fact. I'm just letting the public know that voting in favor of this goes against our charter, and it's violating the oath that we took.
It was presented earlier as well.
But there was not a call for discussion earlier.
Was there any questions for Andy?
No.
That was
The
the
ma-
opportunity. It was on there. Yes, there
The mayor
was.
did not call discussion. I was paying
That is
attention
inaccurate.
earlier. It is
Obviously
110%
not,
accurate.
'cause I was
Go
surprised
back
you
and
didn't
watch
say a
the
word
council
about it.
meeting.
All right, council, I'm going to move on the agenda. Next item is Resolution 2597-26. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2597-26, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a $147,002 aviation project consultant supplemental agreement 1 with Woolport Incorporated for the construction administration engineering services. Councilman Fleetwood?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger?
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft?
Yes.
If we can go back on that, you didn't finish the second.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Portion of the airport fuel farm replacement project. I didn't turn the page. I apologize. I'm so sorry. Let's start over. Councilman Fleetwood.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger.
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft.
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea.
Yes.
Councilman Cohen.
Yes.
And Councilman Leaders.
Yes.
Okay, I'm back together now, I swear.
I now declare Resolution 2597-26 duly approved and adopted on this day. Next, we have Resolution 2598-26. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2598-26, a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign an application with MoDOT Aviation for the federal state assistance for upgrades to the Hannibal Regional Airport fuel farm. Councilman Fleetwood?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger?
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft?
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea?
Yes.
Councilman Cohen?
Yes.
And Councilman Leaders.
Yes.
Now declare Resolution 2598-26 duly approved and adopted on this day. Next, we have Resolution 2599-26. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2599-26, a resolution approving a $40,000 engineering design agreement with Hutchinson Engineering for the repair of the trail washout in Riverview Park. Councilman Fleetwood?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger?
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft?
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea?
Yes.
Councilman Cohen?
Yes.
And Councilman Leaders.
Yes.
Now declare Resolution 2599-26 duly approved and adopted on this day. Next, we have Resolution 2600-26, 2600-26. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion is second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2600-26, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute the Missouri Division of Tourism Matching, Marketing, Grant Application, and subsequent acceptance documents in the amount up to $120,000. Councilman Fleetwood?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Munger?
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft?
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea?
Yes.
Councilman Cohen?
Yes.
Councilman Leaders.
Yes.
I declare Resolution 2600-26 duly approved and adopted on this day. That's all I have, council, except a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
I didn't flat out just say no, but I see your scenario. Go way back and see what he said. Absolutely.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Molly Brown House, Board of Public Works.